You know you can buy these industrial sewing machines for like $300 to $400 on Craigslist? Yeah, including the table. In this industrial sewing machine basics video, I'm going to cover some of the tips and tricks and modifications that you're going to want to make to your industrial sewing machine to make it a little bit more user-friendly and usable for your projects.
My name is Eric Strebel. I'm an industrial designer. Welcome to my channel about product design and making. Alfred backpack hanger in stainless steel and aluminum, designed by me, holds your backpack, lets you charge your phone, holds your keys. Super versatile. So I'm packing up some here that were recently sold. Thanks for those of you who've purchased recently. It really helps support the channel. This is my Puff 463, built sometime circa 1950 in West Germany. This is a classic example of an industrial sewing machine. Probably came out of some factory here in Detroit, sews in a forward and reverse direction, no zigzag, nothing fancy, but can sew through any material you throw at it. Industrial sewing machines are flush mounted on some sort of a table. They flip up so that you can access the bobbin and all the mechanism on the bottom in case it needs to be serviced. There's also a little bobbin window so that you can slide that open and change the bobbin and the spool from below without having to flip the machine up. The big flat surface allows you to support your material while you're sewing it. This is the lamp that came with my machine. It definitely looks 50s or 60s vintage, unwieldy, not so good, and I replaced it with this magnetic LED one that's much more flexible. Industrial sewing machines usually come with some sort of a thread spool holder. Mine holds 3 spools of thread and allows you to quickly and easily change from one color to the next. So let's say you were sewing together a big project like a car seat. This would allow you some flexibility. Now, I love using this bonded nylon thread. It's a little bit stretchy, but super strong. Works great for any kind of material. And because it's nylon, you can heat the end and melt it. Works really great for the ends of the threads. Pretty much the only kind of thread that I use when I'm prototyping. Industrial sewing machines come with a built-in foot pedal. Originally, the connecting rod was connected out here at the end to the right of the foot pedal. I've drilled a series of holes closer to the pivot point on the foot pedal so that I can move that rod closer to that fulcrum point. That way I don't have as much travel and I can have much better control over the speed of the machine while I'm working on my projects. Industrial sewing machines come with a knee lifter. Mine is removable so I can flip my machine up and then put it back after it's come back down. The knee lifter allows you to quickly and easily lower the presser foot while you're working on your project. Industrial sewing machines are going to have a reverse lever. Yes, you just reach over, press down the lever so you can backstitch. You'll do this at the beginning and at the end of your stitch to lock in your thread. It makes it super easy when you're sewing your project. Remember, these machines are all about convenience and speed. Industrial sewing machines have some sort of a stitch length selection option. Some have a knob, mine has a wheel. It goes from 0 to 5. This allows you to set the length of the stitch. I'm going to show you some different stitch lengths here. This is an example of a fine, a medium, and a long stitch. Industrial sewing machines have clutch-engaged motors. Yes, when you push the foot pedal, it engages the motor. These motors allow the machines to operate at very high speeds. Great if you're working at a forced North Korean labor camp and you have to sew 200 pairs of underwear an hour. Terrible for prototyping and precision. You're going to want to get one of these brushless DC servo motors. This allows you to slow the speed of the machine way down. Mine had a plug in the back so I can plug in my LED and get good illumination. It bolted directly into the old mounting holes of the original motor, and this made the swap very easy. So if you have a machine and you're a little frustrated by how fast your industrial machine works, I'm going to leave a link in the description below to the exact controller that I got, and you can swap it out. You'll be much happier in your sewing projects.
I think buying an old machine like this is well worth it. You get a solid machine that has a lot of life left and that you can reuse potentially for the rest of your life. Just be prepared to spend the extra $120 for the servo motor and controller. It turns an excellent machine into something that is very usable for your design and your sewing projects. I think the greatest advantage of having an industrial sewing machine is that you never have to worry about what kind of a project you're going to take on. You're going to be able to sew through any material that comes along your way. Anything that you want to prototype or try out, you're going to be able to sew through it without any problem. If you have an industrial sewing machine or you've upgraded industrial sewing machines in the past, feel free to leave a comment below about your experience, maybe the make and model of the machines that you have or that you've upgraded, and the type of upgrades and user modifications that you've made. I'd love to hear about them and then be able to share them with the rest of the design and making community.
Just as a reminder, if you haven't seen the Team C's hashtag from the other YouTubers, we're trying to raise $30 million to remove 30 million pounds of plastic from the world's oceans. Head on over to teamcs.org to make your donation. Link in the description below. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Make sure to hit the bell so you get notifications every time I have a new video. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links in the description below and on the channel page. Rock on. Don't forget to check out the t-shirts and hoodies in the merch shelf below. Click here to check out some of the other design and making videos that I have that you might enjoy.